Hi, it's Terry Stevenson from the Builderall team, and in this training video, we're going to learn all about managing the blog. In this video, we're going to learn what we're going to do with these 2 pages now in this default layout. You see, we've only built 2 pages, the blog page, which is a recap of all the blog posts as we publish them on our blog. And then we have the news page, which is actually each individual page for each blog article. Now, how are we going to manage all that? Builderall really makes it easy. We're going to come over here and click our newspaper, and that opens up our blog management card. In this video, we're going to talk about this blog manager. On this card, we have a lot of information, and I should tell you, I made a few changes so I could make the demonstration process a little quicker for you. But don't worry, I won't leave anything out. When we take a look at this card, we see that we have several tabs up here at the top. All news is active right now, and it gives us all the news on our site. If we move to the next tab, Publish News, it will show all the blog articles that we published on our blog so far. Moving to the next tab, it would show our drafts, and we don't have any drafts right now, but this is where they would show up. The next tab is Scheduled, and we don't have any scheduled yet. You'll see that as we move forward. Categories. Right now we have 3 categories holding that category place for us. Category Example 1, Category Example 2, Category Example 3. These are defaults in the layout itself. And then over here we have tags. And we have 2 tag default examples. You can add a tag just by clicking on your Add Tag button. And we're on the Fruit Shop website. Let's say we're going to have a tag that's just for sale items. When we write about a blog about sale items and promotions, let's just create a tag, promo, and I add the tag. So now we have 3. Now let's take a look at categories. We have 3 categories here in our default layout, just kind of like placeholders. You don't have to have categories, and you can have many categories as well. These categories are going to be useful for your audience as they're trying to find particular blog articles about specific subjects or specific content. So let's go ahead and change these. It's really easy. We come to category 1. I can imagine that our fruit shop business would like a category to share their recipes since they have a recipe book. So we'll name one of our categories recipes. Let's come down here to category 2 and edit that by clicking on the pencil. Then I can highlight that text in the field and create another category label. Let's create one for promotions. I think that the fruit shop blog readers would be interested in finding out current promotions. And down here on category 3, let's create one just for about employees. Perhaps the fruit shop business owners appreciate their employees and they occasionally write a nice blog article about them. So now we have 3 categories for our fruit shop blog. Let's come over here to drafts next. Here's where we're going to add, this is where we're going to create and add our blog articles and posts. So come to this tab. You do have a field where you can sort by the title, by the author, and by the date if you're looking for a specific article. But we don't have any yet, so we'll come up here and add news. That adds an editor screen, a dynamic editor in our window, and we can begin to edit our blog post. We'll begin with the title. Let's title our blog post, local growers celebrate a bountiful harvest. Remember, our editing options for this title are found on the blog page, where you can customize how that title is going to appear on your page. The next field is our scheduling field, and it automatically populates that field with the current date and time, but we'll have the opportunity to change that further in the process. Moving to the next field, we have a field where you can either select an author that you already have entered into the system or create and use a new author for this news. And you'll see we don't have any authors in there right now. Let's create an author for Savannah. We have Savannah as the author. Down here is a field where you can select a category. If I wanted to put it in one of our categories, and now I have promo, I can select from this list, or I can create a new one. I'll create a new category for local news. Select it. It's added that category on the fly to this field. We can add a tag. If this were a promotional article, we could select that tag right there and populate it. If I've put in something I don't want, I can click the X and delete it. Here's where we can publish the news, but we're not ready to publish this yet. Now let's come down to the main part of our dynamic editor here, where we actually create our drafts and final versions of our blog articles. Right here you'll see this green icon where you can add an image. So let's do that for this article. I'm going to click on that and it'll bring up my file directory, and I can choose an image. We'll choose that one and confirm. Now the image is in my post, and I can right click on it and come to image properties. And here I can change the width of the image, the size, and I'm going to make it go all the way across. So I'm going to take it all the way to the edge. I'm going to put in at least Fruit Shop for the image title, because remember, image titles really help with SEO. So I'm going to title this image Fruit Shop, copy that, because I'm also going to use that for my alt image, and that will really help with SEO rankings. I'm going to leave my position in the center, but I do have the option to go either left or right, and I'm going to click Change Size. That puts that image in the blog post for me, and now I can click and you'll see I have another space here. I can also add a video by clicking on this red camera. I'm not going to do that today, but you go through the same process. You click on it, then you choose the video URL. You can adjust the video width, but I'm not going to add a video today, so I'm going to cancel it. You can also add an animated GIF, clicking on that. That, of course, brings up your file directory, so you would search for the file and add it. Here you can add a horizontal line, so let's add one. I can add that in there. So now I have a line below my image. This clock face here, that's the schedule. I can click that and a pop-up comes up. And remember I said it automatically puts in the current date and time. Here's where you can change that. If I want this blog post to be posted tomorrow, I'm going to click on tomorrow's date, and then I can choose the time up here in this field. Then I can come down here, click that, and choose the time. So let's change the time to 5 o'clock, and right here, right next to it, it's kind of hard to see right now, it says AM. I'm going to toggle this and switch it to PM. So I just click out of that. Now this blog post is scheduled to go out tomorrow at 5 o'clock PM. If I move over here to the star icon, you have the opportunity to make this a favorite, which means it has a better placing on your newsfeed. So we'll come down here to the body of our message, And I'm going to put my cursor right below that line that I put in below our image. I've copied my blog post onto my clipboard, and I'm just going to enter it. And now I have my blog entered into the editor, and I can continue to edit this text in the editor. I can select it and change the font. Let's change the font. Oh, let's just change it to multi-light. And let's change the size. We'll make it a little larger, so that looks a little better. I can also, if I would want to, I can use the other functions like bolding certain places, underlining, or changing the color. So you can see you have all those functions available to you in the Blog Manager to specifically use the branding details that you want for your blog posts. Once that's been done, we're going to schedule it, and we'll see our post that we just created at the top here. It's got the favorite icon. We can see the share image. We also can see that it's the date it's scheduled and the time. We're in the All News tab. If I go to the Published News tab now, you'll see I only have those 3 posts that were there before. When I go to Drafts, I've already scheduled the draft we made, so I have nothing in Drafts right now. And if I come to Scheduled, I see our latest post that's scheduled to be posted tomorrow at 5. So that's how you work within the Blog Manager to create posts and schedule them to go out at a specific time or publish them right now. Don't forget to think about the categories for your blog. They're very useful to your audience when they're searching for relevant information. And the tags feature is something that you will find to be of increasing value the more developed your blog becomes. And now that we've created our 2 pages needed for an active blog and scheduled our next post, let's take a look and see what we're going to have to do to optimize this for mobile. So we're going to come over here and click on the mobile icon, and you'll see we haven't done any optimization at this point. So let's first put our menu in the header. We'll get that in there. Let's center it this time on the mobile. Right click and center the element. Now let's bring our title into our header and center it. This box is an empty box at the moment. We can check it just to make sure by going into the appearance, removing that. So I'm just going to hide it right now. I don't think we need it. Here is our text for our opt-in form, and I think what this is it's the box that holds our elements here. So I'm going to leave it a transparent background. I'm going to bring our title over here and put it inside that box. Now I want to customize this for mobile. I'm going to right click, go to customization, and I'm going to change the size of the font until I can get it on 1 line. And I do, well, let's do 2 lines. Set it at 22. I think I will make it bold. I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to bring our contact form into the box. I want to make sure that it stays with the description text. So I'm going to plop it in the middle of that box, right click and center that element. And now I can grab my invisible box and pull it into my banner, situate it, shorten it a bit, and I think I'll right click on it and center this element. And that way I can shorten this banner just a bit on mobile. So I want to make sure I have a balance between the space at the top and the bottom. That looks pretty good. Now I'll come down here to the next element, which is our news feed. So we're going to pull that up until it meets that banner. We'll scroll down now, see how everything looks. It's looking really good. The only thing I need to do really is pull my footer up, I'm going to shorten my box around my menu and put it in the footer, and go ahead and put my social media network bar in the footer. I can shorten the footer now. Now let's take a look at that one more time. That looks fantastic. We're going to go back to the desktop and make certain that we didn't change anything. It looks good. So we can head back to our mobile and we can save. Now let's go back to our desktop view. We're going to choose our news page. We're in desktop view now. Let's view it in mobile. We can hide our purple box. It has our header right. We have our articles. Let's scroll down. We can bring this up. And since we're on mobile, I'm going to eliminate and hide some of the content because I'm going to be mindful about the limited space. It's always a good idea to build your mobile devices differently than you do your desktop versions because they're very different environments and you really want it simple and clean and light on mobile. So once we get everything positioned and we check to make sure it didn't change anything on the desktop, we can come back, save it. Let's go back to our blog page now, and it looks good. Our brand is recognizable. We have posts scheduled, so we're really in good shape. I hope you learned a lot in this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about how you can add blog apps to other pages.